and the expenditures that we've had. Still currently, the only payments that we've made are for architect payments at this time. And that's on, that's your tab that says bond proceeds register. The next tab is Pine High building project costs, and again, there's nothing on there. It's just another version of showing you what we've made in payments. It's the same payments that you see on the other sheet. And then the last of your financials is our Uber report. What I want to just quickly call your attention to is currently, as far as our budget is going, we're receiving our revenue. We've actually got a little bit more revenue in than what we budgeted for, which is a positive. And then we're still very much within our spending as far as our expenditures.
But if I turn it the long way,
Any questions about the financials?
Any questions from board members about the financial report? Any questions, Director Delache, by phone?
No, not at this time.
All right, if there are no questions, comments, concerns, I entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented. The move to properly second, ready for question. All in favor say aye. Sorry for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, our next agenda item is board committee reports. And before we get into board committee reports, I want to take an opportunity to review committees that we established several months ago. So for board members, we have two reports tonight. We have a facilities report, and I think we have a report from facilities. We also have a report from finance. And so just for board members, remember we established, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different boards. We have an educational affairs and policy committee, I'm saying boards, I mean committee. We have a facilities committee, we have a financial affairs committee, we have a governance committee, and we have a student affairs committee. And what I have provided board members, we're all kind of picking up the pace with these meetings. I want to remind board members that when you have meetings, please feel free to invite the public to attend those meetings, provide you with specific input and feedback for those. Instead of spending a lot of time going over the different board member descriptions, what I'll ask Superintendent Barbie to do is to send those out again to you for your review. I know that Education Affairs Policy Committee is composed of 3 members. That's Director Edwards is the chair, along with Director Calhoun, Director Whitmore, and of course Superintendent Barbie serves on all committees as an ex officio member. The Facilities Committee has 5 board members. Dr. Coleman is the chair, with Director Delache, Director Broughton, Director Edwards, Director Whitmore, and of course Superintendent Barbie. The Financial Affairs Committee has 5 board members. Director Delache is the chair, along with Director Edwards, Director Calhoun, Director Broughton, and Director Rice is a member, of course, Superintendent Barbie as ex officio. And then the last committee, the Governance Committee, where we have 1 more, has 3 board members. I am the chair, along with Director Whitmore, Director Calhoun, and of course Superintendent Barbie. And the final committee, the Student Affairs Committee, 5 board members. Director Whitmore is the chair, along with Director Broughton, Director Delache, Director Rice, Director Edwards, and of course Superintendent Barbie. So that's just kind of an outline of those committees, and we'll make sure we get those descriptions sent out to you. And hopefully we begin to meet more regularly to get your feedback from the community, as well as to share and start working on some ideas before our board members, so we come and have productive dialogue and try to move the school district forward. Are there any questions, comments, concerns about those committee compositions or any of those descriptions? Okay. All right, at this time, we'd like to hear for our committee reports.
And I'm going to start just by saying, currently right now, the committee members and the committees that have met, it's still a learning process right now. So those meetings are just beginning meetings where they're meeting with people from the district and taking in information. And so right now, I believe once we've got that information taken in, then, and not all the committees have met yet, but we've had conversations. And so my expectation now would be to move forward on really setting those standard dates and things like that. But we'll start. Do you want to start, Ms. Edwards? Okay, I'm gonna pause.
Sure. So as Superintendent Barbie stated, I have just attended the facilities committee meeting, and I feel like it was very successful. They like are doing a great job. They have an agenda set out, they have, objectives set, things of that nature, and so I did let them know I'm there to assist in any way I can, or if they have questions and concerns, to let me know. So at this point, the next meeting would be to get with Superintendent Barberie and, Dr. Rice to figure out how to take their concerns and tweak them into what our committee needs to be.
What committee?
The, policies.
Policy.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Cole, facilities?
Good evening, everyone. We've met, probably more people are concerned about the facilities committee than anyone else, and so we've been meeting with the architect, and I think we're moving right along. We've gotten input from, I think, everyone at the school district that wanted to have input, and so we've sent, I think the architect has sent those, and I think he'll elaborate a little bit more on that, but he sent those on to get the first set of plans approved. We've also toured Jack Roby the other day to kind of see where we were going to be during the time that they're building the new school. So we had a walkthrough through Jack Roby on last week, and it was a number of people there. So I think we're going to figure that out. And let's see, the last thing is we'll be having another meeting, I think, sometimes next month. We're going to tour all the facilities in the school district. So we're setting up that for March. I think that's it for now. I think that was it.
And with those community meetings, can we post those to our website with those links, especially if you're going by Zoom? So maybe let Superintendent Barbie know, because I know we're recording. I think I forgot to say hello to YouTube land. So to the Zebras attending and to those who support us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And so I think that'll help us to gain some traction and gain some viewership and some input, not only from our local parents and teachers and community leaders, but also from our alumni that are across the country. So I think that's a good deal. Okay, Director Galache, do you have a report from the Finance Committee?
Yes, good evening. So the Finance Committee basically reviewed the financial policies as well as the financial procedures that are in place at the current time. I do understand that Dr. Barberie and Ms. Reed are currently revising some of those procedures, and so we will have some policy changes to present to the board at some point in time, but right now that's the extent of what we covered. At our next meeting, we will review the ESSER budget, ESSER funds budget in more detail. If so, that's by next meeting we should have an update on that.
Thank you, Director Galache. And again, we don't have reports from those other committees that have not met yet, but we will be ramping up. You will see those announcements on our Pineville School District website. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns about board committee reports? All right, hearing none, thank you for your attention. All right, next agenda item, special recognition.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pearl, are you here to help with that?
Yes, ma'am.
We do. We have some special community members and students and educators showing their stripes over the past month.
Well, I'm gonna follow your lead because you have a special way that you want to do it. We'll help you go right.
That's right. So if you remember, what we worked on this summer with our leadership team was to creating a culture matrix for our district on how we could show our stripes. And we picked specific terms, and each month we recognize people by showing their stripes, but I haven't been very specific on what they're showing as far as what it relates to our culture matrix. So I want to be very specific tonight about the people that we're recognizing and what we believe, what portion of our culture matrix and their stripes that they've shown for our district.
We'll be recognizing students first.
Okay.
Parents that are with them and the principals of the students that we're recognizing. If you could please stand.
Sure.
Okay, all right. So first, Jariah Williams.
An 8th grade ambassador and leading an East project along with having superb academics. And so, Jariah, right here.
She's not here.
She's not here. Well, we want to say specifically that Jariah
showing her stripes by being very innovative and having self-discipline, by being able to be that person to continue with superb academics and then working east and do all this and do the innovative projects. So we were saying innovative and self-discipline for Jiraiya.
Mr. Robinson here. Okay, our next student, Court Bradley.
Leadership skills as a standout student in the Commonwealth Junior High Star Academy. And again, we want to recognize you for showing your stripes to having self-discipline, because you as an ambassador have to set the example for everyone. And by doing that, people learn from you. And so we appreciate how you work so hard to hold yourself accountable so that we can hold everyone else accountable. So thank you.
So principal or principals, you want to come up? Mama, you want to take a photo with the lady? Madison Menendez.
Madison here. We'll be specific. Madison providing outstanding leadership and service as an office monitor for the junior high students and staff. So thank you.
Xavier.
Oh, Xavier. Sims. Xavier Sims.
It says providing outstanding leadership and support for the 11th grade student body. First of all, Xavier is the student body president, right? Xavier shows his stripes definitely by having self-discipline, which is super important because, again, everyone looks up to you and respects you. But not only does he have that, he absolutely knows how to work on the fly, because did anybody know he's a star? He was on Channel 11 last week talking about our calendar. And you know, when we asked Xavier what your thoughts were on the calendar,
Walking by.
and he said, but I didn't have to prompt him. I wanted you to share your answers because they were so well thought out and very mature, and I was very proud of it. So that's something I wanted you to share with everyone as well.
With new academic calendar, it's going to be a struggle, of course. We're accustomed to a August through May calendar, but you know, our teachers, that's the main thing. Our teachers are here to support us, help us better ourselves throughout the year so we can retain whatever we
Now we're going to recognize some staff members.
Well, I was looking for Nurse May Hawkins. She's not here today. Well, I want to say, Nurse May Hawkins, when we were thinking about what to recognize her for, first of all, I first and foremost thought of being trustworthy. She takes care and makes sure that every student in the district is taken care of by utilizing all of her staff and continuing to work towards that. However, I also wanted to say how innovative and how trustworthy she was, because Dr. Rice had a wonderful idea about supporting our students with the 2020 through 2025 vision screenings, and I trusted Nurse Hawkins. I said, Dr. Rice really wants this to happen. I need you to take this and make it happen. And she did. And we had people here, we screened all of our students. It was very impressive, and I'm very proud of her. So I'm thankful for her.
Do we have any motions? Next we have Ms. Marcinia Peoples.
It says providing outstanding leadership and support to students and staff at Forest Park and Greenville, but I want to be very clear about how innovative Ms. Peoples is. She is our pre-K director / principal, and people discount pre-K a lot. In fact, myself, sometimes I forget to put her on emails, and I hate that because I'm like, but one of our best because it is so well ran by Ms. Peoples and her teachers. They take care of the youngest babies, and everyone wants to be a part of the pre-K. But not only do they just teach 3 and 4-year-olds, they work in professional learning communities, they have collaborative team meetings, our guiding coalition is moving forward. You're very innovative, and I appreciate it.
Okay, Dr. Charity Smith Allen. And Ms. Manny Collins, you come over her. Any granddaughter, she.
We got them all.
But Dr. Charity Smith provided, and Ms. Thompson, come on up. But Dr. Charity Smith provided a wonderful ACT support training for our students. She's also training us as adults to just recognize how early we need to start with our students, just giving them that exposure to taking the ACT. And some interesting stats on it that we do want to change. You want to share that about what our average score is with the ACT and what she's helping influence?
Yes, tonight in our report to public, now one of our most proud moments is that our average ACT score in Conklin School District right now is a 14. And we know that our students have to have a 19 to receive any type of scholarship money and not have to take remedial courses. And so Dr. Smith and her team came with support from Ms. Maddie Collins and Ms. Thompson to do specific tutoring for all of our 11th graders this year before they took the ACT, which, by the way, is tomorrow. Our 11th graders take an ACT tomorrow. We've had several sessions with Counselor Glover to make sure our students are prepared and ready. And I mean, I don't know, big prayer tonight, because I really think that they need to get a good night's sleep, and I believe we're going to see a difference in our students. So I want to say thank you so much. Who else from your team is here? Because I have several. Is Dr. Simmons? Will you take all?
I would think everything.
You would take everything. I agree. So, and the strike that Dr. Smith is showing definitely is synergy. And that's one that we don't really get to share very often, but synergy is us collaborating together with everyone for one goal, and our goal is for our students to be successful, and so thank you for synergizing with us. Thank you.
Dr. Javicia Joshua was also part of their team, and then also Dr. Stanley Paul, so I want to recognize them. And none other than Ms. Maddie Collins.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Carlos, for helping us. Have you ever?
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to the agenda, our next item is Personnel Policy Committee.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I am very brief tonight. First of all, let me thank Board Member Edwards for attending the Personnel Policy Committee meeting in last month. It was for January. She came and she just said how well pleased she was with how we try to run things. And so thank her for being there and attending. Tonight, for your approval, the maternity and paternity leave policy, and I believe you do have that in your packet. And so I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
I didn't put it in the packet. I did not realize that was tonight, but that's okay. They looked at it February 12th, but I did not include it in the packet. I apologize.
Okay. So we just will go with it.
Well, we can do it in the March meeting.
Okay.
I will make sure it's in the March packet.
Okay, we'll do that.
They did receive it, the ones that were here on the 12th, but I did not put it in the packet.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, with that being said, then we are looking to also have for our March meeting a salary schedule for the 24-25 school year. I think it's 24-25 school year. And we've already had preliminary conversations amongst ourselves as the committee. We've had our preliminary conversation today with district level leadership, and so we'll continue to come up with those, to have those conversations and to come up with a salary schedule that we can live with to make our teachers proud, our staff, administration, and the whole galore, and also be a benefit so that we can attract those that are qualified to come to our district. All right, that's all I have for today.
I have a question, and thank you for that information. And I know I look forward to talking with you more in the committee and going through those negotiations regarding that salary schedule. I want to know about some additional professional development that's available to the teachers and to the staff. You know, beyond teaching, but just more so in terms of communication, you know, working together. Because that's one of the focuses, and I think I may bring that up tonight and asking the board to consider doing, you know, some professional development training where we work on communication, where we understand our communication styles, how we work together, what are some of our triggers, if you will, and making sure that we always maintain decorum and maintain a good relationship. Because I think that's important, you know, not only for board members, but also important for teachers as they interact with each other, as the teachers interact with students. You know, teaching is did y'all know teaching was a highly stressful job? Y'all know that? And sometimes, you know, that stress can come to a head. And I want to know, or put this on your radar for some strategies or some optics, you know, related to that, so we begin to support those teachers who are in those high-paced, high-need environments to get that level of support. So we always maintain proper decorum. We always are presenting the best foot we have forward for our students, and also interact with parents. So, do you have anything in place like that?
That would be beyond personnel policies scope. However, I'm president for PBEA, so that is something that we could definitely put forward together. So I'll get back with you and let you know what we can come up with.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from board members? All right, thank you.
Is there anyone here for classified PBC? Okay.
All right, moving on the agenda, superintendent's report.
Well, we will start with the annual report to the public, and just to let everyone know, this is a report on the 22-23 school year. So the information that you see is at the end. You got to think it was at the end of last school year. And so first and foremost, I want to start with, and this is something that will be published to the district website, but the vision. And the vision that was created through our work through the strategic plan. We have our district vision and then our district values. So the vision is very long. And so this is something that I've been doing a lot of research on and thinking about how can we create and write our vision in a way where, you know, research says that board members and superintendents and employees of the district should be able to recite the vision to anyone in the community within 3 minutes that says, this is what we are and this is where we want to go. This is a beautiful vision. And I want us to figure out how can we create this to where it's something that we can recite as a district within 3 minutes so that everybody understands where we want to go as a district. Our core values and then our goals. And so the goals are things that board members, you and I, we've been talking about. These goals were created utilizing our community when we created the strategic plan. And our 5 goals within that, can you blow it up just a little bit so those, thank you. Oh, will it scroll down? Nope, okay. If I can put it on my computer though. Now, I know our goals, but I didn't know if I'd put them in the order that were on the screen, so I didn't want you to. So, but pathways for student success, and that's something that I know our board members are very conscious about in regards to career and tech, student support, and ensuring that our students are getting what they need. Safe and supportive schools, and this is something, again, going back to creating those committees so that we make sure that our students provided what they need in all capacities. We have a really strong health team. We have a strong social work team, and so we're trying to make sure that we provide everything we can for each student. Improve facilities, that's something that we're working towards. We've passed the millage, we're gonna build a new high school, and we wanna continue to improve the rest of our facilities. Prepared educators, we wanna increase the high quality instruction in the classrooms, and we want to increase our teachers that are highly qualified. And so we talk about the grow your own model. We're very excited to say that we work closely with UAPB. We work closely with our community. We have a teacher cadet program. We need more students in our teacher cadet program. So those are things where we'd like to talk about growing your own. We do Impact Arkansas, which is growing your own leaders. And so these are things that we're working towards. But again, the most imperative goal that I feel like we're working towards is that community confidence. Obviously, that goal, we can see parts of that through the fact that our community voted for us to build a new high school, that our community continues to come to our meetings and watch our Facebook to see what we're doing, and they continue to communicate back and forth with me and you guys as the board, so we're wanting to continue with that confidence. The highlights for last year were, and these are things that you've seen in my superintendent reports, but I want to talk about, we were recognized from the Office of Educational Performance for Schools on the Move. We also had student scores in the ESSA score index that were above 5 points for growth at both of Moorhead and 34th. We had community support in creating a district strategic plan. That was something that was accomplished last school year. Thank you. Moving on to more district highlights. Of course, you can't discount the fact that we created, or that we were allowed to have a limited authority board in January of 23. It's crazy how it feels like it seems so long ago, but it was just last January. We started all the training, and you guys have worked very hard to move us forward. We had students recognized doing a public service announcement. They created their own rap and video for staying safe, and we were able to run that on the radio stations and the local social medias. In February, we hosted the state basketball tournament at the convention center. It was a very successful tournament. And then guess what? In March, we won. We'd like to see that again next month, right? And another thing we really want to continue to promote is the Red Zebra. Our students came up with a hashtag so that we can document 1 million magic moments, and we don't want that to fall. We want to continue documenting those magic moments that our students and our staff and our community believe in with our district. Pine Bluff School District in the numbers. Last school year, we were over 3,000 students enrolled. We have over, and we missed this, but things that we do not recognize is we still have over 2,000 students involved in extracurricular activities that have to do with the school. Each one of our elementaries have different things. We have an elementary with a cheer group. We have an elementary with a band and a drum line. Of course, our students that participate in activities. So we have students that are active, and I believe that really is going to help us continue to move forward. We last year functioned with 9 campuses. Our average teaching years of experience was 12.4. So even though we feel like we have a lot of novice teachers, we do have teachers that are not novice as well. We were ranked 35th in student enrollment last school year, and that's why you'll see a difference now. Last school year, our average teacher's salary was $49,126. Of course, this year that will look different because we were able to do the base salary raise of $50,000 according to the Lawrence Act. And last school year, we had 518 contracted employees. We're proud of our transportation department. We have a very large district, and some of you know this, and if you helped with the millage campaign, you realized how large our district was when we tried to find out all the edges of the community. We cover over 596 square miles. Our drivers drive over 1,700 miles daily. Some of our buses still do not get back till after 6. And so we know that we do have students on the bus for a little while, but we appreciate our bus drivers, and we still don't have enough. We can't thank them enough, and we can't hire enough bus drivers right now. So we purchased 10 new buses last school year. We've received 5 of our 10. We still are waiting on 5 more buses, but we're very proud of that, and I can see them going down the road. I don't know about anybody else, but I love seeing a school bus. First thing, when I see a school bus, I want to see the side of it and see what district is that. And now I get to see 5 very pretty ones coming from Pine Bluff School District. It's nice. And our enrollment trends, and I just want to highlight if you start at the bottom in 1920, remember that was the COVID year. That spring of 20 is when everyone was sent home. And at that time, our enrollment was 3,034. The 2021 school year was actually the first year that Dalloway and Pine Bluff were annexed together as far as student enrollment. So that year, even though we annexed two districts together, we had a huge drop in enrollment, and it was the COVID drop. First, Pine Bluff School District and Dalloway School District, when we combined that year, we didn't bring very many students back on campus. We still had a lot of students doing virtual learning that year. Over 50% were virtual. And then we lost a lot of students. So we spent a really good year that spring and that summer trying to find our students back. So if you see in the 21-22 school year, we were able to gain enrollment back. But now again, our enrollment is still trending down. So that last year, 22-23, we had 3,108 students. It looks this year we're trending down still. So I'll say that this school year we're still lower than the 3,108. I think we're at 3,042 students right now. On our next part of the report, our student demographics, were predominantly 88% Black and 15% eligible for special education, 100% are eligible for free and reduced. All of our students in the district eat free breakfast and free lunch if they go through the line. We have less than 1% EL students, but we do serve over 25 students are receiving, right at 25 students are receiving English language interventions right now. Our teacher qualifications, 46% have a bachelor's degree, 53% master's degree, and 1% doctoral degree. We have 1% national board certification, 83% certified teachers, 17 non-certified teachers, 17%. Financially, these again were our finances from last school year. We started the year with an $18 million balance, 18.5. Our revenue last year was $62 million. We spent 64. Our ending balance was at $16 million. We report on what restricted funds are. So federal restricted funds, that number is quite large right there. That's because it includes all of the ESSER money that we received that year. So ESSER is a fund that will go away. In fact, it has to be expended. It has to be spent by next year, by the 24. This September, we have to have it obligated. So what you're going to see normally is we run around $7 million in federal, but last year we had more because of ESSER. Our restricted state funds, that's your ELL funds. It also includes ESA, which is what people would call the student lunch fund, but it's not. It's National School Lunch Fund. They call it now Enhanced Student Achievement Funds. Those are restricted because they have to be spent on certain things. We have professional learning funds, EL funds, alternative education funds. We get about $7 million in restricted. And then the millage came back when this was reported. Pine Bluff millage was at 41. We are now at 47.7. We raised it 6 mils. Our expenses last year, of course, most expenses were on instruction, which include teacher salary, and then support services, our M&O, transportation, non-instructional support, facilities, and bonded debt. Some more highlights when we talk about our sports. Our football program implemented a tutorial program under Coach Williams' direction. We had, of course, our boys state championship team. Our Coach Dixon was named Coach of the Year. And we had a student, a female athlete, Miss Deborah Rawls was our student female athlete of the year. Our curriculum, we invest in research professional development for all staff. We align the work with science of reading. All of our curriculum is on the state list and is approved by the department. We support college and career readiness. We had over 100 students that are in National Honor Society or a 3.5 above. Over 100 students in the Beta Club. 4 students went to Girls State and Boys State. Current CTE programs that we have students attending are pre-engineering, human and social services, Air Force, ROTC, automotive service, and food production management service. Our gifted and talented program last year served 253 students in grades 1 through 12. The program offers 9 honors courses and 8 AP courses. Although there are no AP concurrent credit courses offered here, we get concurrent credit courses through CARC. Our GT enrichment program is provided to all kindergarten students. We have a pull-out program though, 1 through 6. I discussed earlier, our 23 ACT average was a 14, composite score 14.7, the state average being an 18.2. And so that's still lower than a 19, which is what our students need to not have a scholarship in the state of Arkansas. Our ACT scores from last school year, which we've provided this information at other meetings, but just to let you know, I wanted everyone to be able to see this, the report to public. Oh, move forward, sorry. I'm looking at it here, up there. Third grade, you have the third grade scores. Give you a chance to look at that. The red is Pine Bluff School District versus the gray, which is the state average. The next slide would be fifth and sixth. Eighth grade, I want to go to eighth grade though and look. Our eighth grade reading scores are coming up compared. 9th and 10th all have to take ACT Aspire. This year, we will not take ACT Aspire, we will take the Atlas assessment, which is aligned to the Arkansas State Standards. It is a new assessment. It's something that our teachers are working through with students in the classroom. Currently, next week, our students will be taking the writing assessment for Atlas. If you'll move to the next, special services. So we provide strong special services. In fact, I was at a community meeting last week and someone asked me, what are we doing for dyslexia? And I have a very good answer for that because we're doing a lot. I'm very proud of our program that we're serving over 190 students for providing dyslexia interventions. We have credit recovery program, we have on-site managers and therapists, we have weekly group therapy, and we have social skills instruction from our support services team. We employ 7 social workers, 9 registered nurses, 4 health aides. We have, we do partner with local mental health agencies. We have the CEP, which community eligibility provision means all students eat for free. And then this summer though, we offer seamless summer this last school year where students, not just our students, any child up to 18 in Jefferson County, we're able to come to 4 locations in our district to get breakfast and lunch over the whole summer. And we're still working to try to do that again next year. Our academies, we work closely with the local education cooperative so that we can provide opportunities for all students. We have a Flex Academy, Focus Academy, Explore, and then Virtual Academy. That was last year. This year, which that kind of got a little confusing, we're implementing a Pine Bluff 9th Grade Academy and the Star Academy. And that's my report to the public. Thank you.
Thanks, Superintendent Barbara. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the report from board members? Okay. If not, we move on to the agenda.
The next report, I just wanted to explain to you all that you'll see Pine Bluff School District, we applied, so there was state money through the LEARNS Act for high impact tutoring. It was something that we didn't really know what it was about, but we worked very hard. Ms. Williams and Ms. Rawls got together and we applied to receive the high impact tutoring grant, and we were funded. Well, we were given the grant. The funding is reimbursable. So what we will be doing is serving over 140 students, 200 students for specific tutoring through outsourcing companies during the school day. It had to be done during the school day. So we're going to utilize Our Kids Read, which is a tutoring company that we already had in place at the elementary, and we're going to use Varsity Tutors, and that will be for 7th through 12th grade. And I think I finished with that part. I'd like to, oh, you have a question? We used student data based on how they were performing on assessments and diagnostic assessments. So at the secondary level, for sure, those that were reading further behind, because the tutoring, our Varsity Tutors is an actual person, but it's virtual. So they'll be able to tutor 4 students at one time for 30 minutes during that time. So that's good. Another thing, oh, go ahead.
How many years is this, just one?
Yes, just this, well, and it actually had to be spent by June. We have to spend the money by June. That's what the state said.
So will that work out for a timeline? I guess I saw the grant agreement it had from some earlier
state said that they were going to award the money in October. We were not told about the money until January. So we applied for it in January. Actually, Miss Williams worked on it while we were gone for the snow break. When we were out for inclement weather, Miss Williams was submitting so we did not, even though the LEARNS Act came out and they said that the money was not released, but actually, we were just given the awarded, wherever you see on that email, that's when we were awarded. Yeah, that's when we were awarded it. Or actually, February 1st is when they told us we were getting it. So, so what we're trying to do is fast pace that, and that's why we didn't, we just used specific types of data for our students that were severely behind so that they could get that during their actual win time that's already scheduled within the day.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering, because the contract of yours is based off of some unit of, or, metric or something, of service. If it's by hours or by students or something like that, if it was based off of a, longer period of time, how would they make adjustments to actually earn the funding that they are contracted to?
We did it when we applied for the grant, we had already spoken with the tutoring companies to see what the cost would be per student for that amount of time. So like we have 21 seniors that we're concerned about that need specific tutoring, and we know they're gonna get out of school sooner than everyone else. And so we're gonna give them a special dose, so it was prorated on however many students they were gonna serve for the amount of time that they could serve them. The rest of the students, it'll go through May, but we're still having to work around assessments in April. So while they're taking their Atlas assessments, we're not gonna be doing that tutoring. It'll be working around that. So it was prorated based on student and time that they would be with the student. All right, and then one more thing that I'll announce that's not on your agenda, but I want everybody to know, the waiver that we applied for the minutes, we were granted that waiver, so that's how we will do our inclement weather makeup, so it's awesome, so I appreciate that. And then next for superintendent report, we have we have representatives here from the Star Academy, and do you guys want to come on up and you can stand there? How do you want to do it? Ms. Lassiter, you handle this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll step over to the podium.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This one, please. Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. Okay, so good evening, Board President, Dr. Rice, members of the board, Dr. Barbara Reed, Superintendent Barbara Reed, public school district administrators, stakeholders and guests, and anyone else who's present. My name is Yolanda Lassiter. I'm the 8th grade social studies teacher with the recently implemented Star Academy, located in the C wing of the Pine Bluff Junior High 9th grade academy. I'm here to share with you an early Star Academy report by subject. I want to point out to you that this is a preliminary report because we just started in January 4th, 2024. So we don't have any concrete numbers other than some of the assessments that have been conducted in the classroom. But I will share what I have with you this evening. Since the opening of Star Academy on January 4th, 2024, our scholars who were selected from the 7th and 8th grade campus have been challenged. The 80 scholars have had to adapt to change in several areas. Those areas include a new environment, new expectations, and a new approach to learning. This report entails how these 80 scholars have performed so far in each subject area, even through these changes. Although it's too early to start looking for certain trends, the data so far has been promising. So the information that we're receiving in the classroom has been promising thus far. To begin, let's see, the science class, which is led by Ms. Marceline Williams. Science and math are very closely linked in the Star Academy, except for a few differences in which, based on the amount of support given and how the support is provided for the scholars. In science class as a whole, 80 scholars have completed assignments with 12 of those students carrying a grade of 60% and below. That number shows that only 15% of the scholars are not performing where we need them. These scholars are in their third rotation with 5 modules completed, with 64 of the scholars completing their post-test. Out of the 64 scholars, 20 of them needed reinforcement in the rotation due to not earning a 65% or better. That's 33% of the scholars who have tested for mastery in the third rotation, being redirected back through the modules for added support. And then we move on to math, and as I stated earlier, math and science they work in tandem. They're closely related. The math class is different from science as stated before due to the amount of support provided. The students work through 2 platforms, one being iLearn, which is more individualized based on grade level and weak areas that have been identified, and IPLs, which is the program provided on the Star Academy platform. The English Language Arts, they're using Language Live, which is the platform being used in their classroom. The students are a part of one of 3 groups and levels that are determined by their performance levels. The first level is level 1, unit 1, and the highest is level 2, unit 1. 52 out of the 80 scholars are working at the highest level, which is 65% of the scholars. Tying this information in with the STAR reading report, the kids, the students are kids, should show growth since their last testing dates on January 29th and 30th of 2024. Based on that report, 26 scholars showed significant growth, with 24 scholars holding steady with no growth or very little regression. These figures total to 33% of the scholars showed growth, with 30% holding steady. That leaves 63% of the scholars that trended downward since May the 8th, 2023. Now for my favorite department, the Social Studies department. The TCI platform used by Star Academy has provided our scholars the opportunity to think critically, challenge assumptions, and understand the complexities of societal structures. Our scholars have been introduced to and are currently studying lessons in History Alive, the United States through industrialization. These scholars are showing increased engagement due to the flexible lesson options, interactive classroom activities, video activities, and reading activities. And I want to explain that all of these activities are embedded in the program on the platform. So the students have direct access to all of these activities. There's no need to outsource or go out and search for additional resources. So everything is there for them. I would also like to share this observation thus far in regards to grading the assignments within the modules. The TCI platform allows me as the teacher to access student work in real time. I am afforded the opportunity to provide feedback to individual students throughout the class period. Students are more likely to complete assignments and make necessary corrections because they know that they're being monitored during the class period. So there's not a break in between grading the information, the resource that we have, grading it, and then waiting 2 or 3 days and then they receive their grade. So if they're in the classroom and I'm there with them, I'm able to grade their lessons as they're completing them. And in addition to that, I can assist them if they have additional questions right there on the spot. I can also give them feedback on the digital platform as well. So it encourages the student to complete the work and to complete it correctly. Based on the data from the last mastery check, the matrix of knowledge, 80 students were tested. Out of 20 possible points, the overall average was 17.6. This gives my students an overall score of 88%. The students who fell below the required score will be allowed to go back to review and recheck. So the reviewing and rechecking is very important in order for the students to retain the information. So I'm really impressed with it. I love the platform. The students have been very engaged, as I stated earlier, and I don't want to take too much of their shine. I have 2 students with me, and they're going to share with me in just a moment. They know I'll start talking and won't stop. Okay, I would like to conclude by sharing some possible barriers, though I will share that. Some of the issues that have been noticed so far are the absences. Most of the scholars who are having issues have had accountability conferences with the administrator to see what is needed to get the scholars to school daily. These scholars have also been reminded that if they are not at school, that they can access their work from home, and that's another benefit to this platform. If they're out for whatever reason, it might be a doctor's appointment, a family emergency, anything, they can still access the platform, complete the work. I have all the assignments open, and that's my class, the other 3 core subjects as well. So they can access the platform from home or wherever they are. More intervention will be provided as needed to get all of our scholars performing at 80% or better on all of their math subjects, and that's our overall goal. I do have 2 students here with me this evening, and they would like to share with you their experience with A-Star Academy. Oh, you have a question, Dr. Rice?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yes,
Ms. Lassiter, for that report. I want to go back to your modules.
Yes, sir.
Do you have, the students have the opportunity to practice before they get into the real modules, practice, and I'm thinking along the lines of test-taking preparation skills in terms of, say a module is 20 questions, but you have an opportunity to have a practice module where they kind of warm up. If they're looking at some images, they're looking at some figures, they're looking at doing some data analysis and using some kind of digital tools. Do they have an opportunity to do that? And if they do, is that done every time that they test or as part of practice?
So the way the platform is set up, and I'll just speak to the social studies right now. The way that platform is set up, when they initially enter into whatever lesson it is that has been assigned, they simply go through each step, and it has an introduction. It gives you each section. In addition to that, it has challenges that are integrated on the platform. For example, a timeline challenge, a geography challenge. So you have all these things, and you can utilize your prior knowledge by going through those challenges, and then when you get to the reading, you're able to continue on. Now, the one big plus with the reading, because we all know that our scores are not quite where we want them to be. With the reading, it has 2 levels of reading, okay? The platform actually will read the text for the student, okay? You have a level A and you have a level B. On the level A, that is the top, okay? That's your highest level, that's your grade level reading. Then if the student has issues with reading, I can change the level or they can change it, it's either way. But when it changes to the B level, that takes it down about 25%. And when it goes down at 25%, then that allows the student to continue to read, and they will understand it better, right? Because it's on their level. But in my class, I require that they go back to the A after they have gone through the B. So when they go back to the A and read through, then they understand the context of what's been presented to them. They understand the information better because they've taken it down to that 25%. When they go back, then they're able to go back through the reading. Again, it reads it for them, and they can read it on their own. They also have vocabulary cards that are embedded within the platform. So when they're using the vocabulary cards, they can check their vocabulary, make sure that everything is within the context of what they're reading, okay? After that, you have about 4 or 5 questions, sometimes maybe more, maybe 6 questions following the reading to determine whether or not they've actually understood what they just read. After going through that, then I can bring in the challenges, utilize the games that are embedded within platform. So it depends on the level of the student. And that's another thing that I absolutely love. I can individualize the lessons based on the student's needs.
Well, one other quick follow-up, and now board members, if you have questions. Do you have, in your monitoring of the students' work, do you have students that appear to have difficulty seeing the text or seeing the screen?
There are some that are, that have that issue. What I want to say in reference to that, the Chromebooks that were provided to us by Star Academy are excellent. They have touch screens. They can enlarge the text. If they're zooming in on a map, it has a magnifying component on there where they can actually magnify the map, zoom in closer. It's excellent for those students that have those issues.
Thank you. And I know you have 2 students coming up. Board members, do you have any questions, comments, concerns? Director Whitmore.
I do, but I might need to hear from the students before I say what I need to say.
Say what you need to say, Mr. Whitmore.
Okay, do y'all want to speak first, or
Yeah.
you want me to go ahead on the speak? Okay. Okay, so, to start, I'm gonna get the good stuff out first. I had the privilege of visiting with Mrs. Lassiter, and it was great. I like the layout of how she does things, and I think it's gonna work with how, you're doing what you're doing. Now, with the academy as a whole, I kind of feel a little bit like I was duped with what was kind of explained to us in the beginning, and what I've observed that is working for your classes because of the way that you're doing it. And I'm not talking against any of the other teachers, because I think they're really doing their best. But when I went to observe, one of the issues that seemed to come out is more of the facilitating and less of the instruction, which is what's happening. And I believe that, we are seeing some growth with the students as a whole, but what we have to think about is, you may have a student that was across the street, and when I say across the street, I'm talking about Moorhead, that might not have been doing very well, and then they increase. But you have some students, and this is me talking to students and parents, who are doing better across the street with the instruction, and now they're not doing as well. So I've talked with quite a few students, and like when I went to open house and parent-teacher conference, I'm out there talking with parents, how's it going? And it wasn't as good as I thought it should be. I don't know exactly what we could do to improve that overall. But like I said, when I visited your class, and I'm not trying to tell, other teachers that, go over there and talk to Ms. Lassiter, what she got it going on, or, that's not what I'm saying. But I felt more confident when I saw, your layout versus what I experienced, elsewhere. And I will reiterate, it's not the teachers, because the teachers that are over at Star Academy was doing an awesome job at Moorhead. But when it came to coming across the street, I think it's trying to figure out how to be more involved with the students. Because, I sat in there and I was with students while they were getting their lesson. And, one thing is, if a student says, I don't understand, you can't just say I don't understand. Because the teacher's not, they don't know what part of the lesson that they're on. So that's the big piece here. And then I've heard a lot of, where the students are being paired together, where if one of the students don't come to school, then this student is not getting that same, he's kind of, or she's kind of off by themselves doing their work, and the other students playing catch up, once they come back. So it's kind of like that, that student-teacher engagement, that old school kind of situation, even when it comes to like the electronic part of it, where a student don't understand something, and then you hit repeat. Well, what's gonna happen is the voice, the artificial intelligence is gonna tell you the same thing, just like it just told you. But when I was in school, you know, every time, say for example, you know, you were my teacher, and you're teaching me a lesson, right? And, you know, the majority of the children are getting it, or students, excuse me, y'all not children. But the majority of the students are getting it, and I'm like, well, Ms. Lassiter, I don't understand. So instead of hit and repeat, like what they're getting in Star Academy, you may say, okay, well, let me show you this way.
Okay.
Okay?
And I understand what you're saying, and that's the way I handle it. I don't allow the platform to teach the student.
Right.
I am the teacher.
Right.
I am there to facilitate, to assist those individuals that are present in the classroom. But this is the thing, when I have a group of students, I have 20 students per class. If I have 15 that get it, I allow them to move on. That other 5, I am with them. I am with them. So I go back and I make sure that they understand, and I find out what their misunderstanding is.
Right.
And then we work from there. And if they are not ready to move on, I close that section. They don't move on. We don't move on until we understand. And once we understand, then we can move on. It's not about catching up. It's not about making sure that you finish before the end of the allotted time. In addition to that, we meet with these students every day. So they're not on block schedule, okay? So if they didn't understand on Monday, when they come back Tuesday, we're on the same thing. And we're going to understand it before we move forward. Wednesday, if we still don't understand it, then it's my responsibility to go out and make sure that I find some additional resources that are embedded in the platform to make sure that the students understand. So that is not my practice, to allow the, yeah, I know you know.
Right, that's why.
Not to allow the platform to teach the students, because that is not what it's designed for.
Right.
It's designed for us to show the students how to study. And that was an issue that I encountered when the students came over. Some students did not know how to study.
Right.
So I had to start from the ground and teach them how to study. I'm still going through making sure they understand that when I write the directions on the board, if I say the introduction is first, which we all know it is, you don't move to section 1. You don't opt in and decide what section you want to work on because you understand it. So I'm working with all of that in addition. And I will say this, because I know we're on a time slot, but when it comes to the way things are right now and making the adjustment, we made the adjustment in the middle of the year. Teachers made the adjustment as well as students. We were introduced to the platform that first day we came back, our PD day, which was January 3rd, 2024. That's when I was introduced to the platform. So I had to teach myself first. Then I had to teach my students. But I made sure I was prepared to teach my students. So it's a learning process. I admit that things are not perfect, nor are they exactly where we want them to be right now. But I can assure you that they will be where they need to be.
I think moving forward, and I say again, this one is the one that I visited. So I started by giving her a compliment in the beginning, if you all remember. It wasn't her. All of the teachers are great. No teachers ask me not to use their names, and I will respect it. So it's hard for me to basically say what I've talked with teachers and students without using names, if that makes sense, okay? She was one of the ones that I walked into her room, and this is just from me. This is not to say that the other teachers are not great, because they are. They taught my child across the street. But when I saw the way that she was doing things, it's like, okay, in my mind, I said, well, if we were all doing it the way that Ms. Lassiter is doing it, maybe we would have this problem. And it's not saying anything against the other teachers, maybe they're still trying to figure it out. But everything that you are saying, if there's a way that maybe the teachers that are teaching, over at Star Academy can get together, like if what's working with your class is working, getting with the other teachers may, I'm gonna say may, be having issues with the students to all come together, like, okay, well, this is what's working for me, and maybe that will work in the other subjects. Because the vibe that I got when I came to your class was more of a relief from what I experienced in some other classes.
Yes, sir.
If that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
But to say again, the one that actually came out to speak is doing a great job. But I just would like to see that across the board. If we're gonna talk about continuing with Star Academy, we can't, if a parent comes in and says, okay, my child was doing this, and now they're doing this, and we can't figure out what's going on. When I went to Ms. Lassiter, she broke it down for me, and that's, your class is not a class that my child was struggling in. He actually improved better than what he was doing in Moorhead, okay? So that yours was not the issue. It was other places where it's like, and when I talked with teachers, it's like, well, they really didn't know, some of them didn't know, like, they could tell me the layout, but it's like I still left, like, okay, so how do I help my child? What's the point of the parent-teacher conference if I'm going in, you're giving me a score, and I'm not knowing where to go with it from here? But see, where your class, and not only my child, but I looked at some of the other kids that my students that my son is friends with, and some of the parents that I communicate with, it wasn't your class. It was other classes that it's like, okay, we got to figure something out, because this is not gonna work. Where they're not succeeding the way that they need to.
Yes, sir. I understand. Ms. Bradley?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Court Bradley, and I'm an 8th grade student in the Nova Star Academy program at Pine Bluff Junior High School. Today, I would like to highlight some of the pros and cons experienced since attending the Star Academy. First off, I would like to say that I have experienced a calmer environment since switching to Star Academy. When switching over to Star Academy, we as students believed that the switch would be hard, but the adjustment went smoothly, and we adjusted quickly. The schedule was quite easy for me and my peers to learn because we attend some of the same classes every day. My fellow peers and I can agree that we enjoyed the new learning materials in the Star Academy. My peers have said that after joining, their grades have improved considerably. We are more interested and motivated to learn. We enjoyed the new learning resources. Some of those resources being the Nova Star Academy website and the learning companion that we are paired with for every learning module. When surveying some of the students, they said that they enjoyed the Star Academy website because we could work at our own pace and that we had a companion to collaborate with and learn. They also stated that they like having the longer class periods, which are about an hour and 15 minutes each, because it gives us more time to retain information about the lesson. The lesson is also easier to grasp. I also believe that having a longer class period is beneficial to having a better understanding of the lesson we receive and provides more opportunities for solo learning with the teachers. However, we do feel though our free time and social time has been cut short during being separated from the 9th grade students to avoid interactions between student bodies. That results into having our lunchroom and free time outside cut down. We also feel that we need extracurricular activity opportunities and clubs to avoid being limited to only core subjects. Star Academy is a great learning workspace to diverse students. There is great interest in students that do not attend Star Academy that have been requesting to join the program. We feel that since joining the program, we have gained opportunities and a better chance at being successful academically. We overall really enjoy attending the Star Academy. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Christopher Phillips.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Christopher Phillips, and I thank y'all for the opportunity to speak here today. I think that the Star Academy can help us as students to be more academically involved. It can also help us to get more prepared for the next grade, college, and the rest of our lives. And the module system that we use, it can help us to have a better understanding of how we do work in college. And the more we get involved into the modules, the more it can help us be more interested in the jobs we can look into. And this program can provide more opportunities for all of us, and we have more choices for colleges, more chances for academic success and advancement. Finally, I would like to say that the Star Academy is overall just a really fantastic program that we should really keep it going. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you, Ms. Lassiter, and thank you, Mr. Pearson, for everyone being here. I appreciate it. I know that I really appreciate the report tonight, and I appreciate your feedback. I believe that it's super important that we continue to think about our training that we're doing for our students and our educators, and I believe that's part of this. It was a quick turnaround, and we all know that. I do believe it would have, and we talked about this when we made this decision. Of course, it would have been better to make the decision for a full year. However, I didn't believe we had time to waste, and I think our students are going to still benefit from that. I think that there's still some reflection that we need to do, and I appreciate that for tonight. We'll have more reports throughout the year. All right, on to new business. And I'll say, I do have several people here, but if those are just, if you guys wanted to speak to anyone, I think we're fine. But as far as new business, we have a petition for a student to transfer. This is a board-to-board transfer for a second grade student, I'm pretty sure. I have no information as to the transfer, other than what was on the form. Ms. Pam?
So, that Roscoe's Full-Time School District. Child was enrolled, right now, we did come to enroll the baby for Christmas break. What he's running into is, he does not have a way to, have a sitter for his baby after school. So in order for him to, continue to work, and education, that's, Little Rock School District.
Why?
He doesn't have anyone to get his child once he gets off the bus. The parent does not.
Okay.
So it's easier for him to, have his son to Little Rock. He can just,
How does this son get to Little Rock?
his child has been out of school.
I see. I see. If you-
So what happened was he moved out of Whitehall District to Pineville School District, or Walsh Shore. And then he lost his sibling that could pick up the baby.
Got it.
So it caused hardship, the baby's having to ride the bus. Actually going to work and then riding the bus, and miss some time in school. He finally did come and put the baby in school, but he still does not have anyone to get the baby in the evening, so. I don't know how he's working that out now, but it's a hardship.
I understand. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the petition to transfer the student.
Second.
The moving project second, is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you.
The next item is, we tabled this last month because there was a typo on the invoice. So this is our first installment payment for our Flex and Focus Academy. And so if you remember last month, we had the Explore Academy and the Flex and Focus. And what was wrong was the one that we had last month, that was this, included all 3 academies. And we were also being invoiced separately for the Explore. So now we've paid the Explore, and this is just for the first installment for the Focus and Flex Academy.
All right, this time I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the ARESC invoice for Focus and Flex. Moved and properly second. Is there any discussion? Is Director Gulache still on? Any discussion, Director Gulache? Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it.
So the next item is the approval for the CAST invoice, and it says invoice, but let me explain what CAST is. So our district is participating in specific training for our inclusive practices for students. So we're trying to include our students with special needs more in the regular ed classroom, where the state is requiring that as well. And so part of that needs to be some specific training. And we currently have the Universal Design for Learning, and that is a specific training for this. There are 70 teachers that are actually participating in this. I say teachers, there's counselors, principals, teachers, special ed teachers. And it is it's a training we had a full day of on January 3rd. CAST is an actual program that specifies in this, it's recommended through the State Department. We got the recommendation from the special ed unit at the State Department. One of the things that Pine Bluff School District has been identified for we are over-identified for serving students outside of our school environment. So we had too many students, it's called disproportionality. We had too many students that were either at that time, last school year, at Jenkins, or at a day treatment, or they were in self-contained, severe, profound, rather than mainstreaming. And so we have a specific, it's specific money that we have to spend. It's called CCEIS money, which is where we have to take a certain portion of our special ed money and put it towards training our teachers and our students so that we can include them more and be more inclusive. One of the steps that we have is the training that we're going to district-wide, and then we're also, we've also brought all of our students back they're no longer at Jenkins. We have students, all of our students at the district, and then now we're making sure that we provide the training for our teachers. And so this is just the first implementation of training. But this money is specific to special ed. It's paid for out of special ed. And so the overall purchase for the professional development is more than our bidding threshold. So I'm asking for permission to move forward with this training and to approve the payment.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the training and the payment for the CAST invoice.
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. So the total for the January 3rd and for the February, March, April, May, that's the total at the top?
Yes, $25,550.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Sorry for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it.
The next item in your packet is a memorandum of understanding with Methodist. So currently, we do have students that attend Horizon, which is a day school, and it's our students that exhibit specific behaviors. We also have students that are at the Point, correct? Say it again, Ms. Boyce.
They the same, and they change.
Oh, they're the same, okay, so it's the same company, but they're out of spots for students, and we have 4 students that need that placement at this time. And so I'm asking that it's a prorated fee, but that we go with the MOU for Methodist to be able to place 4 students for the remainder of the school year.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the Methodist MOU.
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly second, is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
So this tuition, how does the tuition compare to the tuition we pay at the other facilities? I know they don't have any space, I'm just curious about the cost.
It's the same.
Same tuition?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And, how many providers are there? I know that you said that, the other two are full, but are there any other providers? Are they all charge the same amount?
I'm gonna ask Ms. Boyce, to speak on this. She's our special ed supervisor. Ms. Boyce, can you come up a little closer so Ms. Glache can hear you? Thank you. Now, she wants to know how many providers?
We currently only have one provider. It was the point that they changed over to Horizon. We, bought 6 seats, and out of 6 are full. They don't have any more. You have to buy your seat like in April and May. And so once you buy those seats, you don't get any more. So, that is why we're seeking another provider for those 4 students. You don't have anywhere else for them to go.
Ms. Glache?
All right, well, I was just curious about the, I was unaware that it was so expensive, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns from board members?
Yes. So on here it says that, the rate per student at 178 days, 178 days at $70 per day.
So-
Are we,
No.
okay.
So that's what, like, if the MOU, so that's why it says prorated later, because technically, and I had the figures, I think we have, I think it was 52 days of school left, so it would be 52 days times $70 a day times the 4 students. But if we were to buy the seats at the beginning of the year, like what Ms. Boyce said, it would cost us $12,460 a student for the year.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Sorry for me. All opposed, say no. The ayes have it.
The next item is, you have in your packet, and this was something that I put in a little bit later because we were wanting to make sure to get the walk done on Friday for Roby. I wanted to be able to see it and everyone else. But we have a scope of work that East Harding has done with our facilities by looking through Jack Roby and what we want to make sure that gets done before the next school year. And so this scope of work needs to be bid out. And so I'm seeking permission for us to put this scope of work out for bid. That doesn't mean we know what the cost of it is yet. We just want to know what the cost of it would be. And so the reason why it was a late submission is because we need to get moving on this pretty quickly. And so this would be a scope of work that we would put out for bid. And I do have Van here if you have any specific questions about that.
All right. Before we get to discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the scope of work, bid work for Jack Roby. Moving properly seconded, ready for discussion, Director Blanche?
Yes, so are we looking at a single contractor to do all of the work, or are we looking at, breaking this up into different components?
So by putting it out, I'll answer this, but by putting it out for bid, that means all of these things will be out in a bid package, and anyone can bid on that from that. So there would be different subcontractors that would do the work, yes. And I think even Van you would have, what did you talk about as far as having anybody who was interested in making a bid, y'all would do a walk with them and things like that? Do you mind sharing that?
I don't mind at all. Thank you, Dr. Barberie. This scope of work was through our walkthrough last week to determine what needed to be done at Roby in order to make it ready for students. And if you look at it, repainting, new ceiling tiles, flooring repair, flooring replacement, carpet and sealed concrete, etc. So replace, repair 2 HVAC units, some roofing, some gutters and downspouts, repainting of doors, relamping light fixtures as needed, replace and install new return air filters. All of those would be in a bid pack, in a separate bid packages with multiple bidders per package. So the goal is to have at least 3 flooring contractors, at least 3 electrical contractors, at least 3 painting contractors, so that the district gets competition and the best, lowest bid in each of those multiple packages. And then we total those up. East Harding manages that work. With the board, if the board approves tonight, we would then advertise for 2 weeks as required by state law, publicly advertise these bids. Meanwhile, we would be using our database to send out invitations to businesses that we know would be interested in this work, and scheduling a walkthrough so that we walk all of those companies through Roby for them to see the scope of work to get the most competitive price. So should the board approve tonight, we would be advertising by no later than this weekend for a minimum of 2 weeks, and then during that time there would be the walkthrough with subcontractors, and then a bid date would be set, and we would collect those bids, compile the total, and bring it back to the district and for discussion and hopefully approval. Just as a reminder, we've worked in Pine Bluff consistently for over 20 years. We have a very strong relationship with many local subcontracting businesses, and our goal always is for this work to be competitively bid, and our hope is always that the lowest responsible bidder is a Pine Bluff business so that the district's dollars recirculate in the community.
Thank you. I have one extra question.
Yes.
Just to make sure. So, and then this work that we're bidding on and all would not be temporary fixes, like these things would be like, that we could put in place for maybe long-term use down the line for this facility if one need be.
Yes, yes. And there's normal wear and tear as kids are in the building and you got to repaint and replace different things. But yes, this is going to be, the building will be ready for your students for the time that they're in it. And then should it go longer than 2 years, or you decide to have a different use for the facility?
It will, but we're not replacing the roof. So that will be something that will need to be probably worked on for later, for future, for sure. Right.
Any other questions from board members? Regarding the scope of work?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I have one question about, I guess, hauling off the trash. Is that part of that contractor? I still see replace, remove, but I don't know. When we did that tour, I think it was a lot of things needed to just be taken out. So would that be something different? Would that be a separate?
Well, like if we were changing out ceiling tiles, the tiles that would come down would be taken off site, removed. I actually was not on the walkthrough. Sean Carroll could not be here tonight, but if there was debris or things that you're...
Yeah.
When like the old texts and different things like that, trash, that would be our maintenance crew that will work on that as well.
We're talking about the lockers.
Yeah, we don't have the removal of lockers. Yeah, the lockers would stay for now.
They're gonna stay.
Yeah, they'll have to stay for now. They have concrete because it's concrete then. Yeah. Good question.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. It's aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. All right, at this time, we're going to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Ms. Bocci, I'm gonna have to hang up. Yeah. Oh, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I have a question.
There's right here. Where you, is that Miss Hawkins? I missed you earlier. We recognized you.
You know that she's been important.
Oh, you can.
You know where she works.
Where were you?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot. There's one. I did. Thank you.
I'm gonna just get a one. I know, I'm from Washington.
Is everybody? Is this everybody? All right, thank you all for your patience. We are back from the executive session. No decisions were made. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the personnel recommendations from Superintendent Barbary as presented and adjust the recruitment stipend for Coach Michael Williams from $3,000 to $6,000.
So moved.
We move to properly second. I'm ready for question. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right, at this time, this brings us to the end of our meeting. I entertain a motion to, but before I do that, please get some food. I expect some people to kind of hang around, make you a barbecue sandwich, and maybe a couple salads and some chips and drinks over there. Please help us to bring that down, if you will. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moving to properly second to adjourn. Ready for question? All in favor say aye. Aye for me. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your attendance.
New food service.
Yes.
That is.
Have you tried that?
No, I'm fixing it.
It's so good. Here,
I was gonna tell